So when you come to the homepage, they're not there to learn about how long you've been in business and that it's your father's business. They're really looking, one, do you know what my problem is? And two, can you solve it? And if you can do that in 2 sentences before they have to go anywhere, you are gold.
Welcome to the My Future Business Show, where we get you in front of your best audience and keep you there. Not only are we interviewing the biggest names in business to help you become even more successful, we're inviting you to book your spot on the show to help you grow your business. So at the end of the call, make sure you fill in the interview application form at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews. Hello and welcome back to the My Future Business Show. My name's Rick Nusky. I'm your host. Thank you for joining us today. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm sure you're going to have a wonderful time, and I know full well that today's conversation is going to be very exciting for at least me because I love this topic. And with that being said, I would love to welcome to the show Audrey Kerchner. Welcome to the show, Audrey.
Well, thanks for having me. I was looking forward to this like all weekend.
Absolutely, as was I, and for this very reason, because we're going to be talking about how and why businesses can and should build websites, and we're going to lift the lid on the entire suite of products and services that are offered by your wonderful brand called Inkyma, which is a dynamic marketing agency. But before we do any of that, Audrey, it's customary for us to spend a few moments just, I guess, having a fireside chat and learning a little bit more about you. So you and I just spoke off the call briefly about you moving. Have you moved recently?
Yeah, so I spent a good portion of my life on the East Coast in America, in New Jersey. And last year we moved to the middle of the country. So I went from New Jersey to Colorado.
Oh, wow.
And I have been here for a little over a year now.
What was the inspiration? Was it a forced move, or you wanted to do it for a while, or?
Well, so we had been planning it for a long time, but what made us pull the trigger was my son graduated high school. We wanted him to finish high school with his friends, and we thought it was going to be a better experience. He was one of those kids that graduated from home, watching a video versus walking, which is a little... So then once he graduated, we picked up, we sold our house, we moved, and we're really happy with where we are. We really love it.
Well
here.
done, congratulations. It's often a huge task to do, uproot and move, isn't it, after such a long time. Now, what do you like about Colorado? What's something that's a landmark for you? What do you enjoy there?
So we live right outside Colorado Springs, which is right near Pikes Peak. And so...
Oh, yes, the famous Pikes Peak.
Yes,
wow.
Yes. Ironically, my husband is actually a descendant from the gentleman, I forget his first name, Pike, who attempted to go up, but he actually didn't make it.
Oh, wow.
And now, like, thousands of people every year do what he didn't get to do back in the 1800s. So, yeah, he's a multi-generational descendant from that gentleman. But yeah, it's like anytime you go out, you turn a corner, you look up, and there it is.
There it is. It's dominating,
which is really neat. Yeah.
Oh,
I always know where West is now.
Oh, well, I have to say, I've watched some videos of those crazy individuals doing that run, and I'm thinking, I might just drive a little bit slower than what they do, that's for sure and certain. Yeah. So in terms of hobbies, I guess, hopefully that's not your hobby. What do you like to do with yourself?
So I do a couple different things. I am a little on the crazy side. I do CrossFit for exercise.
Oh,
so
no.
Anyone is familiar? Yes, I'm a CrossFitter. But which I find really, really fun. It's just a wonderful community. And the workouts are great. And then the other thing is I'm actually a crafter. I do a lot of DIY. The necklace I'm wearing, I made myself.
Beautiful.
The pictures in the background that you see, I took those photographs. So
it's amazing.
Yeah, I love doing stuff like that. That's like my downtime.
Yeah, well,
after the crazy hecticness of the day.
Yeah.
This is very, the crafting and the photographing and doing the artistic stuff is really it's almost meditative, right?
Yeah. Therapeutic.
So yeah, it lets the brain calm down. Yes, therapeutic. That's a great word.
Now, I wonder, given how busy you are and the need to have that therapeutic break, as it were, what does a day look like for you? Do you get up early, and what does it involve for you, typically?
So my typical day starts at around 6:30, 7 o'clock my time, Mountain Time, because I have clients all over the country.
Yep.
So I take care of my East Coast clients first thing in the morning, and then I kind of move with the sun as it goes. And as I get closer to the end of the day, I head over to any type of West Coast work. So I meet with clients. That's what I love to do. I am the chief marketing strategist. So I talk strategy a lot during the day with clients. What are we going to do? How's it going to work? And then I'm also working with my team. I have web designers, writers on staff, and then I take and I give them that strategy so then they can go and execute it to build the website or to do whatever other things we're doing for a client. So that takes up the majority of my day. And then the other part of my day, I always try to bring in a little bit of it, is continuous learning, because not only is web design technology changing, so are the things that are happening in the world that affect the way that we design websites. I have a psychology background, so we pull a lot of psychology into where we put things on the screen, how we say things, images we choose. There's purpose behind it. So, and that changes depending on what's going on in the world. So a perfect example, unfortunately, is the pandemic. Before March of 2020, we had messaging. And then when that hit, we spent the first 3 months just re-messaging all of our clients that were still out there trying to do things so that the messaging didn't sound tone deaf and that it resonated with who is out there still doing things. So like pet care companies, they started marketing to the first responders and the healthcare workers, because those folks still had to go to work and they still needed people to take care of their dogs. So just,
yeah, that sort of work. I actually love how you talk about not being tone deaf, and that's so critically important in this day and age, given exactly what you've just talked about. It's a real credit to you. Now, before we shift it into another gear again, I just want to know, do you like music? And if so, what sort of music do you like?
I do. I love music. So hands down, I'm an 80s girl. Pretty much anything from the 80s,
my
it's
wife
going to be in my
80s.
playlist. Yeah, 60s, 70s, 80s, definitely the 80s. And then from there, it just goes eclectic, right? And it's probably because it is the 80s. I'll go from, some
Duran Duran,
Led Zeppelin,
like that.
Duran, Elton John, and then right into Guns N' Roses, and then you probably throw a little Motley Crue in there as well.
Wow, I love it. I love it. Absolutely love it. Now,
my playlists are a little wacky.
Oh no, I'd love to listen to it. That would be fantastic. Now, when you do have your downtime, I know it's important to you. Do you like movies or do you prefer to read?
I do both.
You do both?
Yeah, I'm an avid reader. I mean, I just
audiobooks
suck up content. I'll do audiobooks. I will do, I finally switched over to using an e-reader on my iPad, but I used to be diehard, paper books.
Yep.
But yeah, I always read every night before bed, but I'll watch TV before that. So it's kind of like a step down.
Yes, I get it. I have the same process.
Kind of thing.
Yep.
So I do both.
Do you find that, you read more sort of non-fiction or fiction? What's your thing?
So it's actually, it depends. So definitely in the evenings to wind down, it's fiction, right?
Yep.
But then when I'm doing something for work or I'm trying to learn something for a craft or a trade, that's when it gets into nonfiction. And I will actually download a book on whatever it is I'm trying to learn, and then get concepts in my head, and then I head over to YouTube to just watch someone do it or see how other people do it. I find that's a really great iterative way to learn.
Yes.
You read a little, you watch a little, you try a little.
Try it again, you try it again. Yes. The compounding effect. I love it. Now, in terms of your work, I know that you would have had an initial experience as an entrepreneur somewhere along the line. Can you wind back time and tell us what that first experience was? Can you recall it? Have you always had that entrepreneurial streak in you?
I think I have.
Yeah.
I started my career working in Fortune 500. I worked for a big pharmaceutical company. I worked for Schering-Plough, so they did Claritin, Nasonex. Coppertone, all those big products.
Yep.
But even when I was there, I was still kind of building things with new concepts and new ideas. They were really big on trying to have innovative thoughts, and I just gobbled that up. And then I went to work for an agency. We did things there. We did one product that actually got nominated for a Clio Award, which in the world of marketing and advertising, that's like an Oscar. And it was an extremely innovative thing, so a very entrepreneur thing to do. But I think what happened was is somewhere along the way, I was working someplace and then things weren't going well. I wasn't happy. I was bringing in my own clients, but I wasn't happy with how the company was taking care of my clients. So I'm like, you know what? That's it. I'm just done. I left. I took all of my clients with me. And that was like the initial phase of when Inkyma started. And then over the last 10 years, it's grown into what it is today. Because I was like, we could do this so much better. They will be so much happier if I just did it.
If you just did it. No, this dovetails nicely into my next question, because I love to talk about risk aversion, and I guess your appetite for risk. This would have been a risky time for you. How did you feel about that process? And when we know that people like, startup entrepreneurs are listening to this show, they're listening to people like you who have already walked that path, what would you tell them about risk?
Oh, it doesn't feel good. It feels horrible. It feels scary. But you got to take a deep breath and you just have to keep going. And the one thing I would say is surround yourself with other entrepreneurs, hopefully people that are further along, because we're kind of like the only ones that get it. It's like usually when you get an icky feeling, you stop, but it's like, no, when you're scared or you get that icky feeling, you keep going. Because you are trailblazing a little bit. Your company is going to be different from someone else's. No one's going to do exactly what you're trying to do. And that's the scary part. So I always recommend join some type of networking group with other entrepreneurs, either people similar to your industry or totally different. Like I get so much inspiration from a roofer that I know. He owns his business and we run our businesses similar, but we're never definitely competing. So it's okay to talk shop.
Of course.
So if you're not comfortable talking shop with people in your own industry, then find someone who's like-minded in a different industry. And that's honestly what I think the best part of a networking group is for, especially a new entrepreneur.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that group and that support that you get.
Yeah, this is what I love about being the host of this show. Not only does the audience take away some great insights, and thank you for that, but I do too, and it's wonderful. Now, you have a psychology background. This seems to fit well into the next part of the conversation. Now, in terms of mindset, how important is this when you're dealing with all the different moving parts of a business venture? And, tell us about your experience. Did you ever find yourself going, oh, this is too hard, and had to reset your mindset?
Yeah. Almost every day. So that feeling waxes and wanes with my energy level. I am a morning person. I do all the really tough stuff before noon, because if I tried to do it at 2 or 3 in the afternoon, I'd be like, I can't do this.
Forget it.
It's too hard.
Especially after lunch.
I'm running away now. Yeah, exactly. But what's funny is my husband's exactly the opposite. He is not a morning person. He is an afternoon, evening, late person. He does his tougher thinking stuff in the afternoon.
Right.
So the beautiful thing about being an entrepreneur is you set your day of when stuff happens. So, I don't set meetings late in the day if I have to think a lot. And I carve out a couple hours in the morning to do really high thinking strategic stuff. And then when my brain's gone, this is too hard. We can't do this anymore. Why are we doing this? It's stupid. It's like, okay, time to be done.
Yep.
You shut it down.
Yep.
And you go do something else. That's fun, because that's the only way you get through it. People that power through and try to do the 60 and 80-hour work weeks and stuff like that, they're the ones that burn out and the business doesn't last. So I've been doing this for 10 years. And so I'm running a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Now, in terms of knowing that you would have had a system behind all that, I'd love to talk about that in a moment. But just flipping back a little bit to your friend who's the roofer who you talk shop with. Now, in terms of mentors, what do you think of mentors and coaches and things like that? Do they have their place?
They do. Absolutely. For quite a few years, I had a great coach. And he was a business coach. He didn't help me with the processy stuff. He helped me with this.
Yep.
And when I was with him, my company grew like 25%.
Wow.
So it paid for itself. The return on investment was huge. So I do believe in the coaches. And then for those that have bigger unwieldy businesses and they can't figure out how to get their process from A to B, there's different types of coaches for that. Those are valuable too.
Yep.
They really, really are. Ironically, I have clients that I refer to those types of coaches all the time because we'll be sending leads in through the website and they won't be catching them. They won't return a phone call. They don't return the email. And I'm like, what are you paying me for?
What are you doing?
You're not going to pick up the phone.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's a bit of a waste. Now, I'd love to, if we can, thank you so very much for sharing what you have thus far. I'd love to shift gears now, if we could, Audrey. Starting off with, where did the name Inkyma come from? What a name. I loved it as soon as I saw it.
So Inkyma, so we do branding, right? We do branding, we do websites. And
Yep.
so when I went from our old name, which was just my name, Audrey Kerchner, Studios, to Inkyma, I was like, okay, there's one of two ways you can brand. We can do marketing or us, an on the nose type name, or you can make a name and build a brand around it, right?
Yeah.
So we decided to go with the build the name around it. Kind of like what Apple did, right?
Yes.
Apple computers, before that, there was no connection. And so what Inkyma really is it's, I believe it's the name of a character in a book that I read 5 or 6 summers ago now. And I was like, oh, that looks really good. Let me look up that URL. Oh, it's available. I like it. And I believe in some language it means blue monkey. But I just liked it for a few reasons. One, the spelling is different. It's short. And then you don't know how many times I get asked the question that you just asked me. Mm-hmm. And then I get all this extra time in people's brains about my company.
Yes. Oh, very smart. Very much.
That was by design.
Yeah, and it rolls off the tongue, which I think is very, very important too. Now, did you spend a lot of time on it? How long did it take you to come up with that and decide it? Did you have a pile of them?
Oh, we did. We had a couple of different names. We had a couple of different spellings. Then we had to come up with logo and branding. So I would say it took us a good 6-9 months to say, yes, this is it. And then we had to do a rollout name change, right? Because I didn't want people that knew me to think that a competitor came in and is trying to take over.
Yes.
Or that I went somewhere. So
Yep.
Yeah, we did a really cute campaign where I had all of these seed packages branded. And it says, thanks to you, our company's growing, and we had to change our name. And I gave them out to everybody I knew. And I probably gave them out for like a year after that. Like I had a ton of seeds. And they were like wildflowers. So I thought that was really cool. And everybody loved them.
Yes.
So that really helped. And then emails went out. And it was the banner on the website for a good 6 to 9 months. And then even to this day, both URLs still point to the same website. But we just took down the banner that it was new because we're not new. The name's not new anymore.
No, of course. So, well, look, we're going to be talking about what's underneath the branding of Inkyma because there's certainly a lot of moving elements to that. And we're going to be talking about that in a moment. However, the core of today's core is that we're going to be talking about websites and how you go about creating them. So I think the best question that I have for you right now is, what's the difference between a website and a blog?
So actually, a blog is part of a website in my mind.
Right.
You might get different definitions from different people.
Yep.
And the best way that so you can have a standalone blog and it's just a bunch of articles. But if you're a business, right, and you're building a business website, you need to have a blog as well. Right? It's all the same technology, right? It's apples to apples, but what it does is different. And so from a business perspective, the blog is just a piece of your website. And the most important thing for having that is, one, for search engine optimization, because search engine bots like lots of content. Main website pages, people don't want lots of content. We don't want to read War and Peace just to figure out if we want to do business with you. So that's where the two of them balance each other out really nicely. And then a blog and then like a traditional, just a blog, right, about recipes or photography, it positions you as a subject matter expert. So why wouldn't you want to position yourself as a subject matter expert in the thing that you do around your business?
Yeah.
And that's what the blog is for. So from a business perspective, the blog is just a piece of your website. And it's actually really, really important.
Yeah, that's great feedback. Thank you for clarifying, because I've always wondered, I'm thinking, wow, how do you separate the two? They seem to be the same thing. And you've just said that they basically are part of the same monster as such. Now, what's the rest of the website about in terms of, is it a business card? Is there different functionalities? What should a business owner be looking for to have in a website? And should they have one?
Every business needs to have a website, right? For credibility. If you want to be taken seriously, it used to be you had to have a business card. Now you got to have a business card and a website, possibly a Facebook page, if not a LinkedIn page. But that kind of hits all the tick, tick, tick.
Yep.
Now, as far as a website goes, what goes on it? The question you have to ask yourself is, what do I want the person to do, right? Do I want them to buy something, or do I want them to reach out to me, right? Service, product. The whole entire website, you need just enough pages, you need just enough information to get them to do that, right? So when you come to the homepage, they're not there to learn about how long you've been in business and that it's your father's 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 business. They're really looking, one, do you know what my problem is? And two, can you solve it? And if you can do that in 2 sentences before they have to go anywhere, you are gold. And then the rest of it is them learning about, how are you solving it? How easy it is for you to solve it? Who else have you solved this for? Are you really an expert? You know, it's convincing that with calls to actions in different places to get them to perform the action that you designed the website for. So is it to schedule an evaluation? Is it to make that phone call? Is it to fill out the form? Or when you flip it to the product side, is it to buy the product? And that's where the levels of how much you need there. So websites don't need to be big and unwieldy any longer. You need just enough to get them to do whatever that one thing is.
We've certainly come a long way, haven't we? You know, early 2000s, I was looking at WordPress as just a blog and it was nothing much else. And now it seems to be this behemoth that can do everything and anything. What is your favorite CMS, content management system?
WordPress. We are solely a WordPress shop here.
Right.
For e-commerce, we use Shopify just because the two are insanely different. But yeah, WordPress is awesome. And it is. It's become like the Swiss Army knife of websites, because it doesn't matter who you are. We can build anything into it, and a lot of it has to do with the plugins that you pull into the back end. And then we host all of our websites on a WordPress only platform that's dedicated to our sites, which is nice. So we don't use a GoDaddy or any of those others.
Cheap and nasties.
Ours is yes. I love that. I'm going to use that, Rick. We don't use the cheap and nasties. We have our own dedicated space.
Yeah. No, that's wonderful. Now, what type of, I guess, websites have you built for your clients? As you've talked about e-commerce, you've talked about this and that. What should we all have on there on our website?
So I host a podcast as well.
Oh yes, I'd love to talk about that in a minute.
So on there, I think it's episode 3, are the 5 mistakes people make when building a website. I'm going to try to remember them off the top of my head. Let's see if I can do this. All right. So 1 is too much content, right?
Yep.
2 is they talk about themselves before they talk about how they can help the person they're trying to get to buy from them. I think 3 was they put their social media icons in the upper right-hand corner. Oh. So ever since I've been doing websites now for over 20 years, right?
Yep.
Since the beginning of that until now, that upper right-hand corner is where the eye tracks first. So that's like your big hot spot. That's money right there. Right. So why would you put social icons there, which are saying, hey, leave and go
somewhere else.
Go help Zuckerberg.
Oh, yes.
As opposed to helping me.
Yeah.
Trying to get them to flow through the content. And to take the action you want them to take. Put your main call to action in that upper right-hand corner, either the telephone number or your contact us or schedule a meeting or buy, right? Your buy buttons should be up, along there. So that was 3. I I believe I talk about making sure you have a secondary call to action. And the way I like to term this is not everybody's ready to marry you today. Maybe they just want to date. So marrying you is buying your service or scheduling an appointment. And then dating is signing up for your newsletter.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
You need to have that mechanism that if someone is even mildly interested in what you do, to stay in touch with them. And a newsletter is great.
Yep.
Great to do that. Oh, what's number 5? I always forget one.
Contacts?
Well,
contact form?
yes, you should have contact forms. Even if that's not on there, this might be a bonus. You should have a contact form. Don't put your email address on your site. Nowhere, never. You're just saying spam me.
Oh, right.
The contact form, at least the contact form, and especially within WordPress, you can put the honey trap in there. You can put the CAPTCHA in there and get rid of all that spam from Russia that we all seem to get, and really just get the people that, the human beings that are going to reach out and try to contact you. It takes care of 95% of that, but once you put your email address on there, they scrape it, they put you into a list, and then there's done. No way for you to stop it. No, you're done.
The only way you can get
so
out of that.
That might be number 5.
The only way to get out of that is to get a new email, and that's often painful, isn't it? Now, I wonder how long. I know that initially setting up a WordPress website isn't really where the time is spent. You must have ongoing relationships with your clients, because these things can take months, if not years, to really truly develop. Is that fair?
Yes. So when we initially launch a website with a client, I tell them it usually takes 2 to 3 months, right? Back and forth time, getting stuff done, us writing copy, you approving it. And that's us doing all of the work, right? We write, we find images, we put everything together, we pull together the schemas, the layouts, all that good stuff. 2 to 3 months on average. Then after that, then you change things as the market changes. But then that's where the blog comes in. You should be writing 2 articles, maybe 3 per month, just to keep the search engine optimization beast fed, because Google likes new content, and content shifts and changes. Like, we do content writing for clients too. And, we'll see something ping on a topic here, and then the topic grows, and then it morphs, and then it kind of dies. And then we got to find a new topic to try to pull up. And then it may come back. I have a client where they do in-home care and support for seniors who live at home. And before the pandemic hit, about 6 months before, we did 1 or 2 articles on video conferencing with seniors because everybody lived so far apart. Man, did those articles get some serious play during the pandemic. I mean, they just went through the roof, and now nothing, right? Because everybody's figured it out. They don't need it anymore. Yeah. But
It's interesting, isn't it, how it goes through trends and stuff. And you talked about text format, basically looking for SEO juice, as they often call it, I guess. But I wonder, in terms of other formats, such as video and podcasts, how have you found them? Are they beneficial for not only your business, but for your clients' websites?
Yes. So let's talk about YouTube. YouTube is owned by Google. So anything YouTube is good. And then Google is working on the artificial intelligence now, I think. Like, they're kind of hinting at it when I read stuff that we've already got voice to text. So why can't they just do voice to text to figure out what's in the video, then to SEO it properly? And they also already have video schemas. So if you say this is a video and it's embedded within this blog post, then the 2 are this similar, and then it's going to get floated to the top. So it's already being used, and I think it's only going to keep getting better and better. And then for podcasts, the simple thing we podcast hosts have to do is so simple, right? 45 minutes, 30 minutes. To start, we got to transcribe, right? So you put it in the show notes, you transcribe everything at the bottom, and the search engine picks up that entire transcription. And it's probably couple thousand words, because we can talk a whole lot faster than we can type.
Oh yeah. Too much sometimes.
But so I'm hoping at some point that whole AI will then shift over to podcasting or audio only as well, because once they get it perfect for video, then audio is no big deal, because that's the part that they're they're transcripting. So I think those two are going to kind of come up together.
Yep.
But yeah, we try on my podcast, we try to transcribe as many episodes as we possibly can. And again, it's more for the bots.
Yeah, and we're not going to be talking about, I guess, the deep and meaningful plugins and things that go into making a website, because that is one deep rabbit hole to go down. So if anybody's on this call wants to know more about that, they should certainly reach out to Audrey at Inkyma, and we'll be providing the details to that in a moment. Now,
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, in terms of other services, we've talked about websites, but I've looked on your website. Tell us what people are going to find there when they get there.
So they're going to find that what we try to do is, for a client that needs support, we try to do everything for marketing that we can. So we'll do branding, we'll do strategy, we'll do the website, and then everything that comes after. So if they need digital advertising done, we'll create the digital ads, we'll run those. We'll do social media posting. We'll do email marketing. We do a lot with email marketing. We'll write the blog articles, because that's usually the biggest barrier. I say blog and they all go, ugh. I'm like, we're writing. They go, yay.
Yay.
You know, they perk up. I see that, like, I literally see that. They go, oh, okay. They're like, I have ideas. I'm like, great. You give us your ideas. We'll make it sound
We'll make it happen. Yeah, fantastic.
We'll make it happen. So they get really excited about that.
Now, I look sorry, I'll cut you off there. Can I just, before we go on, I have to say, listening to your podcast, because I've listened to a fair few of them, how is it that you have made it sound so easy? And you, I think you should rename your podcast called Cut to the Chase, because there's no fluff. And I really appreciate that, because so many times you hear,
oh, good.
It's about me. It's about me. Did that take a bit of honing to get that right?
No, because that's what annoys me about podcasts too. So if you can imagine me out on my walk listening to a podcast, and I've got it in there and I'm hitting the 10-second forward button like 9 times, because I'm like, no, I've only got like 30 minutes here. I have no time for the 10-minute fluff at the beginning.
Yes.
So it's probably just part of my personality, but I wanted to create something. It's like, okay, this is what we're going to talk about. We're going to get it done in 30 minutes. And at the very end, you're going to get actionable steps, so that you feel like, yeah, I can try to do this.
I can do this.
And oh, I know what my next steps are. And then on some of the more advanced ones, I have disclaimers at the end. I'm like, this is hard. Like,
just a disclaimer. It's
so,
a bit hard.
It's a bit hard. And don't worry, if you need help, call me and we'll get you sorted.
Yeah, no, I love it. No, keep up the great work there, because I actually have I've bookmarked it, because I think it's a worthwhile show, and it's certainly helping me. Now, in terms of the rest of the pages, of which you have several on the Inkyma site, what have we got? We've got design, we've got marketing services.
Right, we've got design.
Social marketing, social media.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank because we're actually in the process of redesigning the website a little bit. So I'm trying to remember what launched and what didn't launch. Since you got to do that every 2 to 3 years anyway, because there's like sites that we did 2 to 3 years ago, and we've done different ones now. And I'm like, wait, the new stuff's like just as cool.
Yeah.
Like, so paring it down. So yeah, we have design. We have social media, and then we have content marketing separately, and we're going to kind of combine that together, because I see it now as all content marketing, right? Whether you're putting up a post on social, you're sending an email, or you're writing an email funnel series. We do a lot of automation on behalf of clients. It's the part that's getting updated to that section. Is we'll do welcome email series, we'll do thank you series, we'll do give us a testimonial series, and then we'll do a 7 to 8 sales funnel series that walks them through the process of going from a cold lead to warmer, with steps along the way to get them to reach out. We do these for businesses that don't have sales teams, and we do them for businesses that do, because the salespeople love having support. They're like, wait, I can take this person that I'm not quite too sure about, put them into the sales funnel, let them get all this great stuff, and then reach out if they open something. Yeah, you can. Absolutely. And you can see, that's what I love so much about email, is you can see John Smith opened email 4, he opened email 7, he did that 3 times, and he clicked on this button. Okay, we need to talk to John Smith, because apparently he's very engaged.
Yeah.
But you don't get that anywhere else. You don't see who clicked on an ad. You don't see who clicked on a social media post. You can see someone put a thumbs up. You don't know when it happened, and you don't know what they did afterwards. So
you seem
that's
to
what
think,
I love about all that.
I seem to think that email marketing is far from a dead duck in the water, is it? You know, there's there's this vibe, you know, that, email marketing's going away. I doubt it.
You know what it is? It's just, it's been around the block a couple times, like websites, and everybody's always looking for what's new and what's shiny. But I think if you look under the cover of email marketing, you'll see all the new and shiny. But if you go and look for any type of report, right, email marketing is still considered more effective than social media or digital advertising, and it's half the cost, right?
Yep.
Yeah, or even more. So there are studies that they stood out there. They still rank everything, and then the last 3 years, email marketing has still been ranked number one.
Number one. It says a lot, doesn't it? I wonder now.
Yeah.
I'm looking at your website. I'm thinking to myself, there's a lot going on here now. When somebody wants to work with you and they don't know what they want, what is the process that you will take them through? I guess first of all, where is the website that they're going to go, and what is the process when they get there?
So the website's Inkyma.com. That's INKYMA.com. And then if you want to work with me, there is a button in the upper right-hand corner. Surprise,
Imagine
surprise.
that.
You can click on it, and then you actually get my schedule. And then we can pick a time, and it gets put on the calendar. Or if you just have a question, you go to the bottom to the contact form. It's on every page, and you fill it out, and those emails come directly to me. I love doing all the client interaction, so all that comes to me.
Right.
And so what happens is you do that 45-minute consultation, and I call it a discovery session, which is, if you're familiar with sales terms, it's really a getting to know you. Yep. I want to get to know you and your business. I want you to get to know me. And then both by the end of that conversation, we're going to realize if we want to work together or not. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we don't.
Yep,
and that's
fine.
okay.
Yep.
And so I ask a lot of questions during that session about the business. And then after that, I come back with what I call a solution presentation. And it's like a PowerPoint presentation where I walk you through a high-level strategy of what I think your business needs, right? You need a website, you need a logo, you need email marketing, you need social media. But only social media for LinkedIn, not Facebook, right? You're a B2B business. Don't bother with Facebook. Let's get you on LinkedIn. So I come back with stuff like that.
Yep.
Need a sales funnel, all this stuff. With pricing around it. So by the end of that conversation, you're like, I want to do all of this. I know what it's going to cost me. Is it in? Then you get to ask yourself questions. Is it in my budget? Am I ready to start this now? And then from there, you either say, yes, we're going to do this. Let's start now. And then I walk you through the process of going from point A, which is where you are now, to point B, which is the end of that strategy that I put together for you. And so I manage that process with you because that's my job.
That's
right?
your job.
My clients don't know how to do that. That's my job to do that. And that's exactly what I do. So we have a whole process in place to support that and make sure that everything happens all along the way with all the various goodies
all the
involved.
various bits and pieces. Yeah, away you go.
Yes.
What a wonderful door-opening conversation. If anybody's on this call and they're listening to this and they're thinking, you know what, I've been putting this off for so long, I think you should reach out to Audrey and her team at Inkyma. That's INKYMA.com. No matter where you'll find this call, you'll find the links back to Inkyma. Again, I love that name. I've loved this conversation. I've loved talking with you, Audrey. What a wonderful call. Thank you very much for joining me on the My Future Business show today.
Oh, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. This was so much fun, Rick. I appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed the call, then make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, share us with your friends, and book your spot on the show at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews. And if you're looking for solutions that will help grow your business, then visit myfuturebusiness.com/shop.